Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first podcast of Modern Tech Philosophy. Today, we're going to be talking about the Metaverse and what exactly is the Metaverse. But before we start getting into those topics, I want to just kind of introduce myself. My name is Joshua, and I do IT for a living, and I have been doing that for about 10 years now. And I've seen a lot of changes in the industry and changes in regards to things as well, and the Metaverse is one of those changes. I understand technology isn't for everyone. I do teach technology and how to use your computers, iPads, Macs, PCs, Windows, whatever you have, basically. And I get that it's actually a really good tool. And to understand that it's a tool is very important, in my opinion, than just saying, hey, I like technology, which I'm in that category as well. But the tools are what's important about technology, in my opinion. So modern tech philosophy kind of goes over that structure and what you can do with technology and why it's important and why it's bad, various things like that. So let's kind of get started into the metaverse and what exactly is the metaverse. So to simply put the metaverse, if I was to explain it to somebody who has no idea about technology, it is a place you go to talk to people virtually and chat and hang out with people online. And the only difference is that you actually can see a avatar of somebody. You can see somebody's image and have a conversation with them. Now, that allows you to do various things like have virtual meetings and talk to people about various events and work and just basically be able to kind of just structure yourself as a business. And a lot of people are finding that it's actually more productive that way than having to meet in person, and less, as far as money is concerned, less money to implement. So, where I want to kind of get started on this journey is kind of talk about where we are going to probably be going and what I think is going to be essentially the future in this whole debacle of the metaverse. So the metaverse is really nothing new. We've had chat rooms before. We've had things that allow you to work virtually. As a matter of fact, obviously with the pandemic, we had Zoom, which allowed us to work remotely, just probably not as well off in the metaverse, if you will, that they have been creating. Facebook and is one of the first people that have been creating this type of thing. But in all honesty, back in the day, there was a game that I used to play called Second Life, and it meant what it meant. Second Life allowed you to go in virtually into a world and basically kind of do your own thing. They actually had people making money off of Second Life because they sold different virtual currencies, virtual things like sunglasses, clothing, just all sorts of things for your avatar. And that kind of became an alternate universe, if you will. And people were making money off of it. They were programming assets into the game, if you will, called Second Life, which isn't too different to what they want to do today with Facebook. Now, what I'd like to talk about is how Facebook's getting there and how they want to basically go there. And despite them dropping and losing a lot of money, I think they are on the right path of getting there as far as what they did. So the first thing they did, which was really interesting, and I want to check on the date that they did this, but they bought Oculus. And if you don't know what Oculus is essentially a virtual reality company, and they make virtual reality devices. So I have to look. When was Facebook? When did Facebook buy Oculus? Simple Google search will tell me back in 2014. So they had their mind set on this since 2014. And it doesn't surprise me because the way we communicate and the way we see each other digitally is a way that things are becoming more popular. Not to go off too much farther into this, but NFTs are basically digital assets that you have that you can buy, and they hold a value, which is very weird. It's a very weird thing for people to understand that, hey, how can a picture of something actually hold a value? It's because we decided that it held value. Just like we decide that money, for example, holds value. I have a $1 bill. It means it's equal to $1. Why? Because we all agreed that it is equal to $1. Just like a picture. If I have a picture that I think is worth some money, and if other people think it's worth some money, then by in its nature, that picture is worth some money. So that's the NFT side of things, but the metaverse kind of just goes and pushes that into virtual reality, which virtual reality is putting this headset on that they actually sell, as far as I'm concerned, at a discount. And I don't believe they're making any money. And what they make is the sale of the software that you get for the device. So the metaverse, they want people to hang out virtually and hang out in these virtual worlds. And I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure they want to go virtual reality in that sense. You can hang out in the metaverse, like I said, back in the day. And that was just viewing it on a computer screen with Second Life. And by the way, Second Life is still around to this day. So Second Life, again, lets you basically view on a computer screen your environment and go to all these virtual worlds. I remember they did a Harry Potter thing, which I thought was really cool, and you could purchase things that were kind of made you look like a witch or a wizard. It was kind of neat, but the point is that this stuff has been around. But Facebook's venture into Oculus is buying the virtual reality headsets so you can be there virtually. And in my video, I discussed on Modern Tech Philosophy what I think about the metaverse and why I'm personally addicted into the virtual reality sense of it, is that I bought this virtual reality headset that they sold, which was, I think it was $299, and I believe they're taking a loss on it because it's really, really nice. It's really powerful to make you feel like you're there. And the funny thing about the way the brain does stuff is even though the graphics aren't 100% great, your brain is tricked into believing that you're in that world, whether it's virtual, whether it looks realistic or not, as far as I'm concerned. So this device is really cool, and as a result of this device, funny enough, I'm able to exercise in this device, and I get to reap the benefits of basically what I have here. So anyways, to get into this, I was addicted to the metaverse. I kind of pulled myself out a little bit. My product levels have gone down since buying the device. Aside from the exercise, I was watching a lot of TV programs and getting into watching Netflix on it because you can see it like it's in a pretty much like you're going to a theater, and it's really, really cool. Obviously, it's not necessarily good for your eyes. I used to use this thing constantly at night. It was really addicting. It didn't make me really want to be creative. I was just consuming the device and consuming the media. But here's another problem that I had in it too, was that time didn't exist, and time just went by like that. It was really, really, really quick. So these devices that they have are really good in a sense that they get you into this universe and they get you talking and they get you having fun in it, but it's easy to lose track of time. So as far as that's concerned, what Facebook brought into the metaverse, it's fun, it's cool, and it could help you be productive at work. It also could have the opposite effect. And given, obviously, the environment that we are currently living in, it's getting better with COVID, but it's nice to slip away from reality every once in a while. However, it is not a good take for regular life. It kind of takes you away from it. And you have to realize that the metaverse is a cool place to hang out, but in my opinion, it's getting towards the... It could be a problem. Let's put it that way. And other companies too are starting to get into it with devices, including Apple right now, which I find very interesting that Apple is getting into it, and they're working on their own virtual reality headset as well, except it's going to be a lot more money. It'll be interesting to see where they go in that regard, to see Apple compete. But if you do recall, and some people don't think this device is going to be necessarily worth the money, the iPhone, when it first came out, was way more than other cell phones. Way, way, way more. $500. And that was actually more than a lot of cell phones because they'd give it to you subsidized. The iPhone, I don't believe, was subsidized. You had to buy it outright. I could be wrong on that, but with AT&T, when they first did it, it was $500. And that was a major change to the industry. And they had other phones. They had smartphones. They had Palm Pilots. They had other things that had cell phones built into them. And Apple just did it, and they changed the flow of the prices. The virtual reality headset from Facebook is $300. Apple's supposedly going to be $2,000, which is a major jump in that. If they can prove that it's worth the major jump, it may be. It may have better features comparatively. And this all goes into eventually they want to do augmented reality and eventually release a device for your glasses called Apple Glass. That is something that they plan on doing. So between the virtual reality and the physical reality, they want to have control over that in a way, so that way you have the ability to gain access to information like maps and everything. And at that point, it gets a little scary regarding that. So changing subjects a little bit about the metaverse devices and things like that, I wanted to talk about something that I was going to do a YouTube video on, but I just simply, quite frankly, don't have the setup right now, and that's why you are hearing this instead of seeing it. But I wanted to talk about, can an Oculus Rift replace a computer? And obviously we talked about Oculus and what they provide. And the first thing I want to talk about is that there are apps within the Oculus. Basically, think of the Oculus Rift as a smartphone, but you're putting it and strapping it on. So you have apps and everything, just like you would with the iPhone or an Android phone. But they allow you to achieve productivity with these apps. Even ones like Virtual Desktop, which is a really cool app that allows you to basically view it at a computer screen. So you could actually be productive potentially in the Metaverse, if you want to call it that, and you can use applications that will immerse you and allow you to even have multiple monitors and things like that as well. You could also, if you wanted to, basically slide load Android apps on it, which basically means you can put other apps that are meant for your smartphone on it. So you could use this thing essentially like a little mini PC. The problem is that it's straining on the eyes. And not only that, sometimes text may appear blurry, which is really annoying, and you have to constantly readjust the headset. Not to mention that the headset can be uncomfortable. You would have to want to probably, if you're going to use this thing long term, even for productivity, you would want to basically buy one of their headsets that replace the headset it comes with, because it's really not that comfortable to be using it forever. You can run it on multiple monitors, but I will honestly say right now in Oculus Rift 2, it will work kind of, and you may experience levels of productivity if you don't have multiple monitors, but it will be eye straining. So in my opinion right now, an Oculus Rift 2 can't replace a computer fully, but it's close. And you honestly have to try it to believe it. You can't fully replace a computer because you still need a computer to sort of operate, to run Windows or to run. I think Windows is the only platform supported actually at this point. But your Oculus Rift 2 could virtually allow you to see your computer in a virtual world, and I think it's kind of neat. So we kind of discussed a bit of things about the metaverse. We talked about the Oculus. We talked about Apple. I wonder if there's going to be any more contenders to this. I know that Microsoft was working on ways of expanding this, and I know that they were working on their devices for virtual reality, but I think they actually stopped making it. If I'm correct. It's interesting. I forgot the name of it, what they're doing, and it was basically, I'm trying to figure out the name of it, but they were the HoloLens, that's right. So the HoloLens they were working on for basically, this is business use, which is even scarier because imagine being able to work on something completely remotely, like even like surgeries and things like that in the healthcare industry, in the manufacturing industry. If it's dangerous, imagine being able to operate a robot and just basically build things. It's kind of crazy to where Microsoft is trying to go and they have the server space basically to work with it. So I know this has been a little bit of a mixed bag as far as this first podcast is concerned, and I appreciate your patience listening. I know I've been bouncing from topic to topic, but we will work on it continuously. And I look forward to seeing you guys back in the next podcast. So, again, it's cool where the metaverse is going. Just understand that the metaverse is really just right now a place to hang out virtually and to possibly increase your productivity levels by seeing people virtually. As we live in a post-pandemic world, it will be interesting to see how these tools are used, and will they be used even more than what they have been used due to what we've gone through with the pandemic. Stay tuned for another podcast. I look forward to talking to everyone. If you have any questions or anything, you can email me, jmclouter@sysnerd.net. That's SYSNERD.net. And I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you all have a very nice day. Thank you.